mining away. I don't know what to mine, I'll mine this anyway. In this Minecraft day, so beautiful, further down. What's that I found? Mine diamonds. Mine diamonds.
For the most part, sitcoms were an important part of my childhood. Every time I just got bored and watched TV, then bam, a sitcom, and then I just started watching them. However, there was one network that truly did have a part in my childhood, that being Nickelodeon. They're the Nicktoons. Nickelodeon sitcoms were always the reason why I kept watching the network, since this was back at the era where Nickelodeon didn't really have that many good cartoons. This was in the era where I saw many good sitcoms like Bella and the Bulldogs, Ryan and Frankie, and 100 Things to Do Before High School. But some of my favorite and least favorite sitcoms definitely come from Schneider's Bakery, or as many people call it, Dan Warp. Schneider's Bakery Inc. is a television production company founded by Mr. Dan Burger King Foot Fetish Schneider. Now, for as much as we give Dan Schneider shit, and it's well deserved, I think we can all agree that he did create some of the best Nickelodeon sitcoms to date, like Drake and Josh, iCarly, and Victorious. Yeah, I said Victorious was good. Fuck off. However, they also created some of the worst shows, not only in Schneider's Bakery, but in the entire network, like Henry Danger and Game Shakers. Suicide! Now, everyone can agree that the downfall truly hit rock bottom when Game Shakers came around, but explaining what started the downfall of Schneider's Bakery is another story. Some people say that the downfall started around when Victorious ended. Others say when Henry Danger started. Hell, some people even say that it was around the final seasons of iCarly. But when you ask me what started the downfall of Schneider's Bakery, my response would be, I'm never that far, no matter where you are. Sam and Cat. I remember having fond memories of watching this show when I was younger, so I rewatched it on Netflix, and what do I think of it? It's mediocre at best. Honestly, if it were up to me, I would end the video here, but y'all know me. So I decided to do some research regarding the show and why it got cancelled. Surprisingly enough, Sam and Cat was actually pretty successful with viewer ratings, and Nickelodeon wanting to order 80 episodes with 40 episodes in each season, and for it to get cancelled after 35 episodes surprised me. So what happened? In today's video, I plan to talk about Sam and Cat and find out what happened to this once fan favorite sitcom. To welcome to what happened to Sam and Cat. Now, the idea of Sam and Cat was always so bizarre to me. Like, Geneva Curdy as Sam Puckett, the most violent character of her show.
Idea from anyone, so why don't you two little girls just...
And Ariana Grande as Cat Valentine, the most innocent character of her show.
My name's Cat. Oh, like the animal. What's that supposed to mean?
Seeing them both having the starting role just seemed so weird to me. Like, the only character I saw working with Sam on a spin-off show would be Jane, but I really don't mind. Now, in August 2012, Nickelodeon announced that Dan Schneider would be making a spin-off show called Sam and Cat, and ordered the pilot episode. The series was then picked up for 20 episodes in November, and the premiere was planned for 2013. Production began on January 13, and on June 8th of that very same year, Sam and Cat was premiered in the United States. Several weeks later, on July 11th, Nickelodeon doubled the season 1 order from 20 episodes to 40. Filming was scheduled to resume in early September 2013, to finish the second half of the first season. Now, what's so interesting about this is that Schneider originally aimed the show to be aired on March 23rd, 2013, following the Kids' Choice Awards. However, Nickelodeon intended for the show to debut in fall. So, in April 18, 2013, Geneva Curdy and Ariana Grande via Twitter announced the premiere for the show was set for June. And so, in June 8, 2013, it aired the pilot, and it was a success. The pilot garnered around 4.16 million viewers, and fun fact, it became the first live-action show on Nickelodeon to break 4 million views on 2013, and having a positive reception from both critics and viewers alike. So with all this being said, this show has a lot of pretty high expectations from just the concept and the pilot alone. So, did it meet those expectations? Let's find out. This show's pretty interesting. It doesn't really do the same thing as Victorious with having an overarching plot, but instead it does the same thing as iCarly and has a more episodic approach. But in every episode, Sam and Cat have to deal with a different situation. One day they have to deal with getting some kids off a sitcom studio, and the other day they're selling illegal soda. You know, the normal shit. So yeah, things get pretty crazy. However, the execution of these episodes aren't really that good. They always have so many creative ideas, but they never do much with them. Like, for fuck's sake, you're selling illegal soda! They should do more than local police officer is suspicious and leaves his son for them to babysit. You see what I mean? Most episodes end up being like this, and they get really boring, when in reality, they shouldn't be. However, some episodes can actually be pretty fun. For example, I really like the pilot episode. It's a great setup, and it introduces many important elements that give the show its own identity. Another example are the Brit Brats, which is in my opinion the funniest episode of the entire show. Seriously, Sam's side plot in Elderly Acres is fucking hilarious. And finally, the episode Toddler Climbing. Yeah, that's the actual name of the episode. It's a really funny episode with a creative plot and the ending being hilarious, which ends up being one of my personal favorites in the show. But when it has some bad episodes, it has some bad episodes, and I can definitely name more bad episodes than good. And when that happens in any form of media, you know you're screwed. So let's talk about some god-awful episodes. And by the way, these aren't going to be my list of worst to best or best to worst. That's just naming some random episodes. So let's start off with the episode Secret Safe. This episode made me hate the new character Dice so much. In other episodes, I really didn't think much of him, but this episode made me just hate him. So Sam and Cat find a secret safe in the wall that leads to a secret room, and so Dice decides to lock both Sam and Cat inside of the room, and goes to his job. And most of the episode is just Sam and Cat wasting their time in the emergency room. So I guess you could say, like they're wasting our time. Haha, I'm hilarious. Another bad episode is Salmon Cat. This episode is just overall boring with a really stupid plot because, haha, Salmon Cat sounds like Salmon Cat. Who came up with this shit? Then we have the aforementioned illegal soda episode, Blue Dog. A great example of having a creative plot, but not really doing anything with it, which is such a shame. The final episode I will be talking about is not only one of my least favorite episodes from Sam and Cat, but one of my least favorite episodes in any sitcom ever. And that episode is none other than Fresh No Girl. This is, in my opinion, one of the worst things I have ever seen in live action. So, what's wrong with this episode? Let's put it simply, this episode is pretty much a painfully unfunny episode about a spoiled brat getting something she didn't deserve, with the addition of having Sam and Cat getting tortured for no fucking reason, with having a side plot that's just overall idiotic and unfunny at best. Phew, that was great to get off my chest. Although there are some elements of the show that I just find awful, that doesn't necessarily mean that I think the show's outright terrible. It has some pretty good elements as well. For example, Janet McCurdy makes this show an absolute blast. She's probably the most entertaining part of the show. The acting itself is also pretty good. It definitely shows that the actors had a lot of fun filming this, especially Jeanette and Ariana. Hey, I recommend remembering this for later. While I did mention that I hate Dice as a character, they also introduced another new character called Goomer, and I think he's actually a pretty funny comedic relief. He doesn't outright make me laugh my ass off like Sam, but he definitely does have his moments. Like I mentioned before, the show definitely has some pretty interesting plots that, implemented well, could have been the best episodes out of any Dan Schneider sitcom. Hell, I would even say they would have been better than Drake and Josh. But the show was canceled only after 35 episodes, not even ending the first season. So let's just answer the question, what caused the show to get canceled? On April 2nd, 2014, Nickelodeon announced that the series would be in hiatus. Although they insisted that the series was not canceled, many speculated it was. On July 13th, 2014, it was announced that the last episode would be #GettingWiggy, which aired 4 days later. Now, if you've been paying attention to this video, well, first of all, thank you. And second of all, what are some bullet points that made the Sam and Cat pilot so successful? The ratings and the positive reception. So who knew that the thing that made the show rise to the top would eventually lead to its downfall? So the ratings of the show never reached the amount of viewers that the pilot got. In fact, it got below average ratings at times. The closest time the show had the same ratings as the pilot was back when they had a quote-unquote crossover with Victorious and iCarly. And I say crossovers with very high quotation marks. After that, the show never really reached those initial ratings. Then we have the fan/critical reception. Like I said before, the pilot got a lot of love from both critics and viewers alike. But over time, all that love to the show slowly faded away, with some people saying that the show tried very hard to act like iCarly and Victorious at the same time, but in the end makes the show that's a failed and honestly worst amalgamation of the two shows together. But those aren't the real reasons why the show got cancelled. In fact, that's just the tip of the iceberg regarding the show's cancellation. Now remember when I said this? The acting itself is also pretty good. It definitely shows that the actors had a lot of fun filming this, especially Jeanette and Ariana. Hey, I recommend remembering this for later. Well, here's a funny story. Now, in March 2014, Jeanette McCurdy became the subject of a scandal after leaked photographs showing McCurdy in various stages of... how do I say this without getting the video blocked? Fuck it. Her being naked. Her absence was noticed at the 2014 Kids' Choice Awards, where Sam and Cat won Favorite Show, and Ariana won Favorite Actress. Jeanette McCurdy claimed that Nickelodeon was treating her unfairly, and that she was the sole purpose for the failure to attend the awards.
A lot of you guys are asking why I didn't attend the KCAs. I wish I could explain everything as thoroughly as I would like to, but unfortunately, a simple explanation is all I can write. I was put in an uncomfortable, compromising, unfair situation. Many of you have guessed what it is, and I had to look out for me. I chose not to go because sticking up for what is right and what is fair is what my mom taught me. I want to thank those of you who have reached out with kind words of support. No matter who or what you support, I believe in supporting fairness first. If you have done that, thank you.
On April 2nd, 2014, despite reports of a second season with 4 episodes yet to be produced, Nickelodeon abruptly put the series on hiatus. Then rumors started to pop up that McCurdy and Grande were having issues with the network over their salaries, with McCurdy accusing Nickelodeon of paying Grande more money. Ariana later took to the network's social medias to deny allegations. The network explained the hiatus was planned and then said the series was not cancelled. Although, after 3 months later on July 13, 2014, Nickelodeon announced that the series has been cancelled. For months in between, rumors have been spewed that Grande and McCurdy ran high and continued after the series cancellation. However, what's interesting is that McCurdy stated in a 2015 interview with E! Online,
I just feel that Ariana and I were and are extremely close and extremely like-minded in a lot of different ways. And then sort of as if the show dissolved, everybody wanted to find some sort of hidden meaning in our relationship and some like drama. And I think we butted heads at times, but in a very sisterly way. Like she knows me so well, and I know her so well, that I think it was very unfortunate that things got misconstrued.
overall, Sam and Cat is a show that's very hit or miss. On one hand, the show has a lot of creativity put into it, the actresses are charming, and it's fun. It definitely has its moments. But on the other hand, the show's pretty mediocre in terms of jokes, which in a comedy show, that's really fucking bad. And the writing can be pretty cringy and terrible at times. Would I say this is the worst Nickelodeon sitcom? No, far from it. But this is definitely where I think the downfall of Schneider's Bakery began. But what do you think? Do you like Sam and Cat? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Hell, why not share it with other people? Consider following me on Twitter and join my Discord server. Have a nice day, everybody.